Hello again, Michael Kamas from Key Code Media here. On this episode of Broadcast to Post, we're jumping from post-production to live production and taking a hard look at LiveU. Now, LiveU has fantastic technology that takes your live video signal and broadcasts it to the internet, and more importantly, over Wi-Fi or 3G or 4G signal to anywhere in the world. LiveU's portable solutions range from a hip pack to a backpack and are among the most portable and reliable mobile transmitters around, period. When your Wi-Fi is spotty or you're in the field with no internet connection, maybe even covering a hurricane, the bonding technology LiveU utilizes keeps your signal on the air. Now you're probably thinking that while cellular sounds like a good idea, what about the dropouts? And that's a fair point, but LiveU has you covered. See, LiveU actually bonds mobile connections together and even looks at multiple cellular towers to find the best one to use. And that's why a vast majority of professional news organizations use LiveU when in the field for live broadcasts. Plus, a portable pack allows you to ditch the satellite truck and expensive uplinks and transmitter time. If it helps, imagine putting a satellite truck on your back. Figuratively, of course, we don't want anyone to get hurt, but what we found is that LiveU solutions don't just help folks who typically rent satellite trucks. What about simply streaming to social media networks? What about remote business meetings, sporting events, or activities at your church? A portable HD or 4K streaming device can handle all of that, and LiveU has scenarios for all of these options. Let me share a few examples. My favorite is from a company called Golden Boy Productions. Now, Golden Boy Productions, owned by friend of Key Code Media's Oscar De La Hoya, shoots and broadcasts boxing matches from Las Vegas. Now, taking cameras, switchers, and satellite trucks to a boxing venue is really expensive. The manpower, the setup, the teardown, etc. But what if just the camera folks were sent to the bout with cameras and LiveU packs? All they would need to do is beam their signals back to the production facility a few miles away. This is exactly what Golden Boy Productions did, and the addition of a LiveU pack for each camera saved the production tens of thousands of dollars a month in manpower and time. What we also found is that having gear as small and as portable as LiveU meant the camera could capture scenes the general public wouldn't normally get to see. Takate did this for a boxing match and had a simple mobile camera in the dressing room prior to a fight, which led to 2 million views on Facebook, 53,000 likes, and over 40,000 shares, and a whole new income stream and a way to act with fans. The most recent and rewarding project was the Ocean Cleanup live stream. The Ocean Cleanup is a project out of the Netherlands, and the project created a device that is going to clean up the massive garbage patch in the Pacific Ocean. The live stream covered the ship as it launched from the Bay Bridge to the Golden Gate Bridge and out to the Pacific Ocean. The live stream included multiple LiveU packs, wirelessly transmitting both audio and video to the technical director's NewTek TriCaster control room. The cameras ranged from drones to boats to an interview room, all sending signals from the middle of the San Francisco Bay, miles away from home base. We've pre-recorded an interview with Ocean Cleanup senior producer Dan Vanderkoy. We'll jump to that now. Hi, Dan. Thanks so much for jumping on the call today. So let's jump right into it. Can you tell us a little bit about the Ocean Cleanup project?
Yeah, well, I'm going to let Flo do that part of it because he's been here longer than I have. He's got all the knowledge with the Ocean Cleanup.
Yeah, so the Ocean Cleanup is an organization, a nonprofit organization that develops technologies to clean the oceans, to rid the oceans of plastic, precisely. And so it's been founded in 2013 by a young Dutchman called Boyan Slat. And it has evolved over the 5 years of research and development into now an 85+ employee organization. And we've just launched the first system in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. So it's on its way to the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And it's a system that's intended to start the ocean cleanup.
Excellent. Can you tell us a little bit about how the live stream came about of the initial deployment?
We knew the rough outline of where the system was going to go. We knew it was being built in Alameda, and we knew it was eventually going to the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. So we knew the direction it was going to go, and so we just started back as early as March. Flo and I were in San Francisco scouting out like where would be the best place to get a land shot where would be the best place to get a boat shot. And so we would scout these locations and we would make little marks on maps. And then as things started to progress, we started to, as I said earlier, we were dreaming large. So at one point, I think we had about 15 locations that we were like, well, when this happens, we have to have one at Torpedo Wharf. We have to have one on the bridge. We have to have one, at Alcatraz, all of these places. And from there, it just kind of, once we started thinking aerial and thinking drones, we do a lot with drones anyway, just on our pre-produced packages. And so we thought, well, I wonder if that's something that we could even do. And we looked into it and spoke to some other drone pilots and realized that these LiveU's pack, that you can just run it right through the remote through the HDMI. So we did some tests and that's how it happened. But our scope was actually, we ended up with 7 locations total. With 7 LiveU packs, and looking back at it, I don't think we were actually missing anything because of the drones.
And where did all those camera angles go to? You got all the different angles via LiveU, but then you were receiving all those video signals and then doing a live switch, a live mix. What was that setup like?
Yeah, so all these units on field were streaming back to a control room, which was near our assembly yard in Alameda. Which was a really great location. It's a former naval air station, so it is actually a control tower. So we had all the signals coming in there, and then we had technical director Ron Vargas that was operating the TriCaster there. So that's where all the feed was coming in, and that was our main location, and it was also the location where our main anchor was. So we had all in one place there.
Excellent. Now, Dan and Flo, where can people go to learn more about your project and the ocean cleanup?
The easiest is to go on our website, which is theoceancleanup.com. So there's a lot of information, and especially the live stream now is very easy to find on the homepage.
Excellent. Well, Dan and Flo, thank you so much for your time today talking about the technology.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sure by now you want to see this thing in action. So now's the time in the show where I bring in George Klippel from LiveU to talk a little bit more about all that the LiveU family brings to us content creators. Now, during the presentation, I'd like to encourage our audience to ask questions on Twitter using the hashtag LiveUAtHome or comment on the live Facebook or YouTube feeds. George, take it away.
Hey, thank you very much, Michael. I'm excited to be here today to bring you this webinar on wireless at-home production workflow, now with our new precision timing. We're going to divide this up into 3 different segments, if you will, today. First, we'll look at the field unit, the LU600 HEVC. This is the unit that we predominantly used on the Oceans Cleanup event you talked about in your opening segment. Secondly, we'll talk about other users who have used the at-home production workflow, and you can kind of get a feel for how they've used it, what they've done with it. And then lastly, I'll talk about our LU Central web-based application. This is the application we use to kind of set up everything that you need in the at-home production workflow environment. That includes your command and configuration, the field unit, the server, etc. So let's get started with the unit itself, the LU600 HEVC. Talk to you about a little bit about what it can do, how it's configured, what it looks like. But just so everyone knows, you don't have to use just that unit in this workflow. You can use any of our professional broadcast units like the LU200, our brand new LU300 HEVC, which, by the way, just won Best of Show at the IBC show. So we'll start with that. The LU600 HEVC is a portable backpack unit that weighs just under 4 pounds, and it comes standard with a 7-modem configuration. It delivers the highest video quality and bitrate on the market, up to 20 megabits per second, has the fastest file transfer rates, which are up to 60 megabits per second. There's a built-in 4-hour internal battery. The unit has both SDI and HDMI connections, and also Ethernet and Wi-Fi support built right in. In total, the LU600 HEVC unit can bond up to 10 connections at the same time. Another nice feature of the LU600 HEVC is that it comes with dual SIM modems. These modems have both an A and B slot and are configured with domestic modems in the A position and our roaming SIMs in the B position. This means that the unit is ready to go live anywhere in North America and it can go live in over 186 different countries around the world. A quick refresher for those of you who are unfamiliar with bonded cellular. The LU600 connects multiple cellular modems from each carrier, Wi-Fi and Ethernet, and bonds all of those connections together, and then sends your signal over IP to our LU2000 server, which can either output SDI, NDI, or even RTMP. You can also go to a cloud server if you want, if you plan to go straight to CDN only. Another feature important to point out is the ability to set delay. The LU600 can set delay from 20 seconds all the way down to 0.6 seconds, so sub-second delay. And now we have the ability to do video return. This new feature allows you to take a feed from your control room, either program or teleprompter, and send it back out to the unit itself. Or you can send the signal out the mini HDMI port on the unit to a larger third-party monitor if you'd like. And finally, one of the options on the LU600 HEVC is called Data Bridge mode. This allows you to take your streaming unit and turn it into an Uber hotspot and essentially configure it so you can send files back, edited packages from your location back to your office, VPN in to your office if you need to, or even just surf the web or collect email. And finally, in addition to everything we've already talked about, we have the LiveU Advantage, which is what we call LRT, or LiveU Reliable Transport. It does packet ordering, dynamic forward error correction, acknowledge and resend, and adaptive bitrate encoding. It's best explained in this next diagram. As this slide builds out, the top line is the available network bandwidth. The second line is the bitrate you're streaming, and the audio bitrates at the bottom, always in sync in a LiveU environment. When you see the first circle there, it's the network bandwidth dropping down a bit, and you'll see the bitrate drops down with it. When it recovers, you'll notice the bitrate goes back up. That's because of the LRT. The encoder adapts to the available network bandwidth. Conversely, when it drops out, the bitrate doesn't stop streaming. We drop along with it, still delivering an in-sync video stream along with quality audio. That is what the power of LRT is. It's the ability to maintain sync with audio and video at all times, regardless of how the network is fluctuating. As I mentioned, the wireless at-home production model is taking multiple field units and connecting them to a server in a remote location control room, similar to what this diagram is showing. One example we have is with the New England Sports Network, or NESN. They cover spring training for the Boston Red Sox every year using the wireless at-home production model by LiveU. The setup they use to cover a game is actually 6 cameras with LiveU units, and they add our LiveU extender to the mix. The extender adds an additional 6 modems to the bonded unit they are using. They send the signal back to their Boston area control room, where the LU2000 server picks it up and provides an SDI output to the router, where they switch it in production to air. The LU2000 server is a key component to the at-home workflow. The LU2000 comes in 3 configurations: a single, dual, or quad output. Each server can receive up to 16 field units as inputs at one time. The server then connects into the production comm system as well and can feed out IFB to those field units. Another example is where LiveU provided all of the at-home production for the 8-day Cape Epic mountain bike race in South Africa. This was one of the most technically complicated wireless at-home production setups we've done. In total, they had 5 LU600 HEVC units, 1 LU500, and 1 LU200. Plus, they used 2 LU smartphone apps connected to multiple LU2000 servers in the control room. The units were used in various configurations. Some were deployed in helicopters, some on motorcycles, and even on e-bikes right in the middle of the action to give that viewer the live, in-your-face experience of the race. The signal was sent back to the control room that was located a few miles off the course. And finally, Grip, the manufacturer of the groundbreaking G1 Formula cars and founder of the new G1 series for drivers aspiring to reach Formula 1, teamed up with LiveU to use a wireless at-home production model for the G1 series. Their goal was to provide premium quality coverage that no one had ever seen before. The process they used was groundbreaking and provided a new level of fan experience and engagement. Inside each race car, there are 2 GoPro cameras, as well as 2 microphones, one in the engine compartment to capture engine sound, and one inside the driver's helmet. Video, audio, and data are transmitted real-time via LiveU's LU200 portable transmission unit, which is our small form factor device about the size of a person's hand. They used an LU600 HEVC unit for wide-angle coverage of the event. The signals were sent back to the control room to an LU2000 server for production. The audience interaction part came at this point. They not only sent out the switched feed, but through a custom application, they shared live car data and insights, telemetry, communication between drivers and teams, and for the first time ever, really allowed the fans to have an onboard experience with their favorite drivers, like they'd never seen before. And all of this is because of the flexibility and capability of our wireless at-home production with precision timing. This is LiveU's central interface and the Units List tab in our LiveU web portal. From the dashboard, you have access to all of your LiveU devices. The units icon are color-coded. Gray is powered off, green is powered on, and red is powered on and transmitting. The status column shows you your camera settings, or if no camera is connected to the device, shows you pack delay as well, and also shows you the aggregated bandwidth on transmitting units. Other columns include device type, software version, and selected channel. And on the left side of the column, we have filters that can be used to further select or refine your view, very simply by clicking them on or off. You can have multiple filters selected as well. The right side of the screen has a property panel which allows you to completely control the device. This is also where you can start and stop the transmitting, as well as selecting the destination channel for your stream. If we click stop, when the video stops, you'll be able to select a different channel to broadcast to right here from the pull-down menu. This is also where you can adjust delay and then restart your transmission. This is the delay setting here. And it's really important when you're doing the wireless at-home production, the setting of delay. When using multiple units, the delay must be set at the same exact number. And this is where the precision timing technology takes over to ensure that the stream sent back to your server is in sync and remains that way from the field unit to the server in your broadcast. So here I have my LU600 set at 1 second delay. I have an LU200 here in the mix as well. If I was using them both in the at-home production environment, I set both delays at 1 second. The precision timing locks these 2 units into sync, and then I come back down and start my transmission, and they'll both have a sync delivery to your broadcast because of our precision timing workflow. Now you can broadcast directly to Facebook Live as well, right from this interface, simply by clicking on Go Live and this button here. Modem statistics can be tracked live and in real time by clicking here. This shows you all of the available modems, Wi-Fi, and Ethernet connectivity, and how each modem is performing. On the second tab, a histogram is available and shows you how the modems were performing in that type of view. The third tab shows you the Files tab and what files are available on the system. The fourth tab is general information about the device. To connect remotely to a Wi-Fi network, click on the gear wheel and give the device a second to scan for available networks. When you find the network you want, choose it and enter a password if needed. If a Wi-Fi network has a landing page, that can only be navigated to on the unit itself. Another setting in this window that's important to point out is our least cost bonding. This is a feature that allows you to set up the unit to always use either Ethernet first or modems first. This will save you a lot on your bandwidth costs if those connections are available. So if the Ethernet drops, for example, the modems will automatically take over while not affecting the transmission. In addition to live transmission mode, you have the ability to do what's called store and forward, which allows the unit to store files temporarily and then transmit them to the LiveU server on a cell signal once it becomes available. Store and forward mode has 3 different quality settings, low, medium, and high, and the controls work the same way as a live stream does. You simply start the unit, and once it starts, you finish your transmission, you stop the unit as you would just like a regular stream, and then the file will send back to the servers. Now the files are being stored under the Files tab, which is here at the top. When you click on that, you'll see that the file comes in, it is received to the unit. You can actually chunk them and play them out, if you will, right here in this little window. You have the ability to sort on them. You can go full screen with the file, you can download the file, or even set up a watch folder so when the files arrive on your LiveU server, they automatically move to a NAS or shared storage environment for editing. What's good to note on that front is the files are streamed at H.265, but we record to the server as an MP4 file for editing, since most nonlinear editing systems can't edit H.265. And finally, under the Manage tab is where you'll set up your servers to your output destinations. Our servers output SDI, NDI, RTMP, and MPEG-TS. And you can output multiple streams at the same time. And for RTMP streaming destinations, you can go to any one of the pre-built destinations that we already have here. You could select generic RTMP, and you can even stream to simultaneous destinations at the same time as well. And that's going to do it from my end, Michael. And before I send it back to you, I'd like to have one more comment about why use the wireless at-home production model from LiveU. It's truly a wireless and reliable streaming technology. Complete wireless sync of multiple live video sources. It has no LAN or high-speed network requirements required in the field. No more miles of cable pulling when you're out there. You've already invested in your infrastructure, your control room infrastructure. You don't need to send that out into the field anymore. You don't need to bring fly packs out to the field. This technology has proven that it works. You don't have to have sat trucks. You save money on travel. There's no more, need for LANs or high-speed internet connectivity on location. You can go live from anywhere you are in the world, essentially, and send your signal back to your at-home location and do the production as we've just described in this webinar. I hope you found it very valuable, and Michael, I'll send it back to you for the Q&A.
Thank you, George, and the LiveU team for all of the great insight. We're now transitioning to the Q&A portion of the webinar. If you haven't submitted your questions already, do so now by using the hashtag LiveUAtHome either on Twitter or comment on Facebook or the YouTube stream. I'll be leading the Q&A shortly. Now, while everyone is submitting questions, we're going to take this quick commercial break. Please enjoy this teaser trailer for another great add-on product for your live productions.